All right, it says we're live, so I'm assuming we are. Hello, everybody. It is good to see you on a decent looking day. It's still cold and windy outside, but it's the sun is out at least for the moment. Clouds and sun have been going back and forth today. Um, but I'm leaving tomorrow, going to Oklahoma, where it's supposed to be like 78 degrees when we get there, and I am so excited. It's going to be 81 on Thursday. I'm excited about that, and then I'll be hot and I'll be ready to come home. But anyway, we're here. We're going to turn some wood today. We're going to play with some texture and some color. Um, what Jeff Hornig calls the Moroccan Blue. We're not
Oh
going to do
yeah.
blue. Yeah, it's fun stuff. You heard the voice. That is Mr. Jedi himself, Wayne the Woodturner, and we've got the Queen of Wood Turning, Miss Ruby Claire. Glad you
Hang on,
guys are
hang
with
on.
us today.
I'll just show them the T-shirt.
Yeah, do that. It's weird being the same age as old people. And
I need one that says that. I
yep, me
definitely
too.
do.
Or I resemble, if I could stand beside Wayne and have one that says I resemble that remark. That would be fine. So they're in the background. They're going to be helping you guys answer questions or relaying questions, all of those kinds of things. We may hear a fight about who's going to get to read the chat, the who's in the chat, those kinds of things. Who knows with those two? You never know. We're going to have a good time though. Well, I put my mouse down. I shouldn't have done that. I want to go over here and I want
Well,
to put
let's
it
see.
right.
Todd did it last week, and I did it the week before. So I think
Okay,
we
must be Wayne's
your
turn.
turn.
Yeah, must be my
um,
turn.
we were having a discussion about this piece of wood a while ago. I'm not. I think maybe it's cypress. This was a piece that somebody had given my dad, and we cut it up into blanks. And this is one of, I don't know, maybe three that I've got of this. It's a two by. It's right at 10 inches square. So we're going to turn this into kind of a shallow bowl, deep platter kind of thing, and see where we can go from there. It's got a couple of issues. There's a crack running right across there that you can see. What you cannot see, but I can see in the end grain, there's a little bit what looks like it could possibly be some ring shank. So this piece may fall apart. It may be beautiful. We're just going to have to wait and see. You'll see more about it as we go along. If you're not familiar with the Moroccan Blue, you're going to be here before long. It's a great piece, a little bit of work, but it's a lot of fun. So I'm going to get started getting this squared, or not squared up. I'm going to get it started rounded, and we're going to go from there. So I'm going to turn it over to these guys and just let them have fun. Okay, let's go.
Okay. So the first person in the chat is Frederick Day, who's down in Kent, and he said it's noticeably colder. Just started raining, but not heavily. Bit different to what I've had today, Frederick. I've had the patio doors open all day, only just closed them. Central heating's been turned off because I'm in Scotland and I'm tight.
I would take that temperature any day of the week because we've been having a rain snow mix, and it was below freezing when I got up this morning.
There you go. Oh, well, Larry's in. Wee Val's here. And Johnny's in as well. But in fact, Johnny's in early. You working today, Johnny? You usually on your lunch break. Obviously, Ruby's here. Chris Charlton's in. Roger Wallum. Ronald Todd is here from the West Bank of New Jersey. Roger is asking what everybody's been turning. He's working on a segmented cat made of zebra wood. Deal's in, Old Man River. Evening, Deal. Paul Norfolk Hunter is in. Still going down. Malcolm Douglas. Marcel Durette. Hi, Marcel. Todd at Glen Cove. Mike Evans. Rob from Copper Owl.
Hey, Rob.
Mike dances with aardvarks.
Hi, Mike.
Michael McEwen, and that's me down at the bottom.
Very good. Welcome, everybody. It's so good to have
Did
you.
you get Tom Kenny?
Oh, I must. Tim Ponder as well.
And Al Dawson and Brian
Al as well.
Brian at Heartwood. Brian Osby.
My chat must have jumped a hell of a lot. Good evening, Brian. Good evening, Al. Sorry I missed you.
Zed the Zombie Woodburner.
And Zed, yeah.
All right, getting some of those heavy square corners off of there. They were starting to bother me already, but we're good now. It's cutting very easily. I'm pretty sure this is cypress. It's very dry, but.
Did you get Rex B?
No, he must have just come in. My chat seems to be way behind.
Anthony Green has joined us.
No, I haven't got him yet either. It's been that chat.
I think we got Michael McEwen. Rex has a question. He says his brother cut down a tree. The insides are yellow. The neighbor says it's flame box elder, but my brother says it's yellow locust. And how to tell what it is. If it's box elder, it's going to have a lot of white around the outer edges. If it's yellow all the way through, it might well be the locust. And locust tends to be harder than the box elder.
Rex, is that in Florida?
Yes, it will be.
If it's in Florida, it very well could be mulberry.
Yes, it could be that as well.
A lot of mulberry in Florida, and that's a great wood to turn. Hard, but it's a great wood. It's often confused with Osage orange.
It could be Osage as well.
Yeah, could be.
Rex says it's North Carolina near Asheville.
Oh, right. Sorry, Rex.
North Carolina near Asheville, and it's yellow.
And Zed is asking if you heard about the guy who got arrested for impersonating a politician. It's getting to where a guy can't sit around and do nothing anymore.
And Tim Ponder said it could be persimmon.
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 Persimmon, yeah. My dad used to have a set of persimmon golf clubs.
Yes, I did too.
I went to, I was going to steal the woods out of it, just for the persimmon, and he had given them the clubs away. I was going to turn them.
There's not much wood in a golf club, believe me.
No, there's really not.
Now, Zed said that if you mix holy water with laxative, you can have a religious movement.
Mm-hmm.
I like that one.
Zed. Pretty bad.
My chat is way behind. I can't even see that.
Isn't that interesting?
Chris says he just finished an outside barbecue fire pit and kitchen for one of his kids. It took him 4 weeks. And Rex says that yellow wood was, his brother said that it was very hard to cut through, and it is yellow all the way through it. If it's locust, you're going to really thoroughly enjoy turning it. And Zed says he acquired a very rusty carving gouge at a garage sale for $1. He cleaned it up and it seems to be good quality. It has the name SB Addis on it and it's made in England.
Oh, I see Haley's just come in.
Hi, Haley.
Hey, Haley.
Mike's asking, is the bow texture in the caption a spelling mistake?
Did you mean to put a bowl texture?
I'd have to look and see what it says.
Well, it says bow texture.
Oh, there's supposed to be an L there.
And
As I
Lucy's
was
just
saying,
come in.
I was telling somebody else yesterday, holy cow, my chat just went haywire. Well, I see part of the reason. I'm on top chat instead of all chat.
Hi, Lucy.
There we go. Somebody sent me a message, said, you got a misspelling there. And I looked, and sure enough, I did. And I finally figured out why. It was a stupid thing. We get so used to typing with our thumbs on our phones, I forget how to type with my fingers on a keyboard. All right, I think I want just a touch more rim than that.
Mike says cool. He was expecting some archery style turning. I haven't done any archery turning in a number of years.
Now, for putting the colour on this, Doug, are you using rattle cans for putting the colour on this?
Yes, I am.
Right, okay.
We'll put one color on anyway. All right.
So I remember when I saw Jeff doing this. Jeff was across here. I think it was 2017 again at one of the UKIS events, and he did a masterclass on doing this, and he actually used it was like a vacuum effect using a straw to put the color on the wood.
Yes. He has a
couple
of things that he does. Yeah, real interesting. Some of the stuff he's come up with.
Zed put the link in for his premiere later today. He's doing a Ceanothus hollow form. So that should be interesting. Thanks, Zed.
Just trying to get a nice edge on here. I'm not down to round yet. That's part of the problem. Oh, let's turn my tool rest right on around. This wood is as soft as it is, and there's one of those ring shanks, and it is broken through right there. I need to treat that now before I forget it.
Kirsten Peterson's joined us. Good evening, Kirsten.
Howdy do.
And Mike's just popping out to get his supper from the chippy because he's wasting away. He'll be back in 10 minutes.
Wasting away?
I wish I had a chippy that close.
Get some on the other side too, because that goes all the way.
Mama's in.
Hey, Mama Sneaks.
Hi, Mama.
There we go. That'll run from end to end right there.
Now, Rex is asking, how thick of an edge do you put on a 4-corner bowl? What is the minimum and maximum?
I would say it's up to you.
Yeah, it's up to what your turning ability is. If you're a fairly new turner, you're going to leave it thicker. If you're a fairly experienced turner and you're turning with the grain, You can take it down to 1/8 of an inch
Yeah.
or less, but
Todd is asking, what's a chippy? Sorry, Todd. A chippy is a fish and chip shop.
it's a good thing we can translate, right, Wayne?
Yeah. Mind you, joiners in the UK are also called chippies.
Joiners are called chippies. That's
Yes.
interesting.
Now that's a new one on me.
Yeah, so if you've got a joiner working on a building site, you know, on new houses and things, they tend to be called chippies.
Okay.
Give myself a little more speed here. I'm trying to get a nice smooth edge on this, the edge of this piece. But being that it's cypress and a very soft wood, yeah, well, yeah, you can see it's chippy right on that very edge. I may just have to take that off and be done with it.
That's what happens when you use very soft
Yeah,
wood like that.
Yeah,
taking a very light.
Going back to the joiners, it's we've says because they chip away at wood.
Yeah.
You sure it's a joiner and not a planer?
No, it's definitely a joiner, a person.
Oh, okay.
A person, you know, a joiner, a person, not a machine.
Yeah.
Okay. When you said joiner, my mind automatically went to a machine.
Yeah, no, no.
And Bert Spoles has joined us. Welcome, Bert.
Hi, Bert.
And Doug Bennett.
Bennett. Yeah, Doug Bennett's just coming as well.
Hi, Doug.
All right, let's see if that's any better. Just took a pretty good bit off of there. Not really, especially the end grain. Yeah, this is just it's a fairly nasty piece of wood. It's just not being very cooperative. But it's not trying to split on me, so that's good. Yeah, that's better. That's better. Still nasty on the bottom side. I'm gonna give it just a slight scrape and then we'll sand. Okay. Slow my speed down. And we'll turn on the dust collector. If that's nasty noise, just let me know and I'll mute for just a minute.
No, it's fine.
Okay.
I don't hear any noise.
Okay, good.
Ron says that you'll have better luck when you turn it around.
Maybe. Maybe.
Now
But it is, this is just a very open grain, soft wood. Most of the time when you look at cypress, it's not considered a very, just not a good wood as far as making with it. It's awfully soft. And like I said, open grain. This piece does not have a bunch of resin in it. Sometimes you find it with resin. This does not have, I'm not finding any of that.
Now you've left a fairly wide base on it.
Yes, yes. Yeah, I want it stable.
Now Zed says he finds that if you pass a torch over the cypress, the fibers stiffen up and it gives you less tear out problems.
That's an idea.
There you go.
I don't have to worry. We don't get cypress up here.
Yeah, I kind of wish I knew exactly where this came from. Um, the only cypress I have fooled with much in the past was reclaimed cypress knees, and that's interesting stuff too. They can be super open grain.
They grow in fairly swampy areas.
Right. Yeah, the knees are actually part of the root system. It comes up out of the water to get air. Quite interesting. In most states where it grows, has they've outlawed you cutting the knees.
That's interesting.
Well, it's because it's the root system, and you mess up the roots. I'm just going to stand a little bit going the other direction. I've got a couple of ingrain areas that are being a little cantankerous, a little obstinate. Put a little reverse sanding will correct that. I watched another video the other day. It was so interesting. The guy tried to get a bunch of tear out to go away. He was trying to get it to go away by using a scraper. And if he wasn't using a scraper, he was scraping with his gouges. And I kept thinking, the definition of insane is doing the same thing the same way over and over again, expecting a different result. And his tear out would change every time he did something. It would change, but he still had tear out, all because he was scraping. So all that's done.
And Heather has joined us from Spirit Wind Wood and Stone. Hi, Heather.
Heather.
So now you can see kind of the whole thing. There's still a little tear out right through here. We're not going to worry about it too much. There's that ring shank crack. And here's the other side of it. And there's a little bit right through there as well. But the tear out was the big concern. Still some there, but I'm not that concerned about it. Now I'm going to do some preliminary. I'm going to do some of my texturing here. I'm not going to worry about the bottom because it's going to sit on the bottom. You're not going to see much of it. Got to back this off just a little bit. There we go. I've got that cutter, so it's going to be cutting right on center. And I'm going to do some sections and try to outline those sections. Got to be going in forward. Speed is at 500. And the way Jeff describes it, most of the time, most people with the texturing tools, they want to do too much too fast. And he says the trick is to push into the wood and hold it there until it quits cutting. And you should have, and I do, have a nice texture through there. You can see that on the screen.
Yes, it came up quite well.
All right, I'm looking for, that's the one I want. This is my little, it's my little 1/4 inch skew. I'm just holding it up close to there because I want to make a little defining mark to outline that.
And Gav Sedai has joined us.
Hey, Gav. Now, I think this is the tool. Nope, that's not the one. Well, what did I do? I must have put it away.
On the lathe bed under your work?
No, I put tools away the other day, and I put all my Allen wrenches that were supposed to be right there away.
Oh dear.
Yeah, you put things where they're supposed to be and you can't find them. And one of these screws,
That
this
sounds
thing,
quite familiar.
yeah, yeah. This has two set screws, one on each side, and one of them is stripped.
Oh dear.
But it's still okay. So all I'm going to do is loosen that, and I'm going to turn my tool the opposite direction.
Now Ron says texturing can hide a multitude of sins.
It
It could,
can.
it could also hide your torn grain too.
Absolutely.
I've
right.
actually built on my texturing tool. I've binned the rest part of it, because it's a hell of a lot easier just to change direction of the cutter without that rest being there.
Yeah, I did the same thing.
Yes, yes. And I've done some texturing without it. It's fine. It works really well with that. But
And Susie, the Swiss wood turner, has joined us. Good evening, Susie.
Evening, Susie.
my only problem with taking this thing off of here, the flat piece, if I need to go back and redo, I can't. It's hard to get in that same angle. So I just leave it. I've just left it on. It hadn't bothered me too bad. At least not with this little mini tool. Okay,
About the only time I've used the rest part of the texturing tool is when I've been doing a spiral on a maybe a goblet stem or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it keeps exactly the same angle.
Right. So I'm going to make it pretty extreme back the other way again.
I do my twists on a goblet stem with a file.
Mm-hmm.
You can get pretty good twists using that the Robert Sorby texturing tool.
True.
Okay, let's see what we got. Should be
And
looking.
Pete's just come in.
Well, we went the
Morning,
same
Pete.
way.
Hey, good
Pete.
morning, Pete.
Instead of Puff the Magic Dragon, it's Pete the Magic Dragon.
No, he's definitely magical.
All right, now extreme.
And Paul is asking, is the cypress a bit soft for texturing?
Very, very.
Very is right. Soft woods are not usually really good for texturing.
It's another good reason to use the little rest so that I don't have the temptation to over twist while I'm moving side to side. All right, just making a little dividing line right there.
And then in reference to Pete, Gav says mythical like a moose. Pete doesn't believe that moose exist. He thinks they're mythical creatures.
Oh me. One moose will feed a family of 10 for about 2 years. They're massive creatures.
I still remember the one night I was coming home from work and I had to go down this section about 100 yards that didn't have any lights on it. And as I was walking along, I heard a noise and I looked over to my left and there was a baby moose that was about the size of a good-sized pony. And then I heard another noise and I looked to my right and I was standing right between Mama Moose and Baby Moose.
Oops.
And I said to myself, this is not the best place to be, so I just kept walking. That was out in Banff National Park. God's country out there.
Been there?
Did you go up to Lake Louise?
Oh yes, stayed overnight at Lake Louise.
Geez, I may have even seen you way back then.
That was in, when was that? That was 79. That was.
Yeah, I was out there at that time period. Part-time I worked in the hotel, and part-time I worked as a trail guide with the horses.
Oh, very good. Yeah, we did. We were out at Bathurst, which
Okay.
is the British Army Training Unit Suffield,
All right.
about 30 mile away from Medicine Hat, I think it is.
Yep.
And we did a trip, and we did Calgary. We caught the back end of the Stampede at Calgary. Did Lake Louise. Went up to Jasper,
Yes.
and then Edmonton, and back down to Calgary again.
Good trip.
It was a very good trip.
Rob is asking what you were spraying on, Doug.
It is, what did I say? It's claret wine satin Rust-Oleum.
Claret wine, Rust-Oleum paint.
Mm-hmm. The 2X Ultra Cover. It's a pretty good rattle can paint. The only issue is
Pete's put in that every Scandinavian he knows who has seen a moose, including Lisa and himself, has drunk Jägermeister, and they are way too big and silly looking to be real.
I don't think you look silly at all.
Oh, I think moose are very silly looking, but they are real.
Definitely. And they are big.
Yes.
Todd has said Calgary to Jasper is one of the prettiest drives on the planet. Yeah, I'll agree with that.
Yep.
We're getting there. It's almost dry.
And Mama Snake says, wow, 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 Doug, that's a lovely red.
Well, we're going to make it even nicer here in just a minute, as soon as I can get this paint to dry.
And
That's
Zed,
the problem with rattle can paint. It just takes a while to dry.
when Wayne Zed says the drive must have taken you weeks, what with the horse-drawn carriages and such.
Yeah.
And Mike has come back, says nice color, and Todd wants to know if Mike brought any chips back with him. I could go for some right about now.
Yeah, me too.
I'll tell you what, I got off work early today, about 6 hours early. They just scheduled too many nurses. So we met and had lunch a little while ago, and that was such a nice treat. We don't get to do that very often. And no, I did not steal her hairdryer. She gave it to me. She got a new one and said, "You want this old one?" She said, "It still works." Sure. Which is kind of nice. Of course, it's got high and low. Then it's also got a button. I can turn it on high and push this button in, and the heat doesn't come on. It's just blowing air, which is kind of nice once in a while. Sometimes I just need a nice blow of air.
And always remember, if you are using either a hairdryer or a hot air gun, before you actually point it at the piece, turn it on first and point it away from the piece, in case there's any dust in there,
Yep.
because that'll just stick to the paint.
And even if you do that, you're still likely to get some dust in there. Just general principle.
These are words of wisdom learned by experience.
Definitely.
I was gonna say, yeah. I heard Wayne say it, but I've learned it my hard way myself. I'm one of those people. I can hear it a dozen times, but until I do it, I don't. It just doesn't sink in for some reason. I guess hard-headed.
You must be related to my husband.
It may be a male thing. I don't know.
Mike says he's noticed that art restorers use a hairdryer when they remove masking tape.
Absolutely. It heating up that adhesive will cause it to release. That's with any kind of tape or glue for that matter. I learned that when I was building some golf clubs. Those stainless chromed shafts are glued into the head with epoxy, and it makes a difference. I actually called one of the adhesive companies, and they said, you're going to have to call the other company to find out, but part of the reason why they suggest one and not the other is because of the temperature that the adhesive releases at. I called the other company that I really wanted to use, and they said, oh yeah, our glue is way hotter than that before it releases. So I had to go back to the one I didn't want to use, but it all worked out. You have price stickers on things. If you want to get the price sticker off, use a little hot air. It works a treat. All right, I don't think that's perfectly dry, but I think it's to a place. That's good. It's not coming off. It's just a little shine on my hand. All right, next trick. That's good. I got my face shield down and I'm blowing on a can. Doesn't work real well. Doesn't work real well. All right, somewhere here. There it is. Really want the shavings off the top of that can. There we go. This liming wax is like marshmallow fluff. Very soft, fluffy.
Is it white?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Pure white. But I'll show it to you here. This is Mylan's. It just says wax polish, but it is a white. I mean, it is snow white. That's why it's glaring like that. It's super, super soft. And I don't mind that because I want it to go down into all that texture that we just put on there.
Enchanted Wood Designs is with us. Good evening.
Hey,
Good
Kevin.
evening. And Ward Wilson's come in as well.
Hey, Ward.
Hi, Ward.
I'm going to end up with this all over my hands, but that's okay too. I'm only going to be on a U.S. military base for the next 3 days.
They won't judge you if you have white hands?
Probably not. Probably not. It's so funny. His graduation is coming up here in just a couple of days. And starting in the first part of May, we have to have what they're calling a real ID.
Right.
Which is really no different other than they're just checking a little more carefully to make sure people are who they say they are, that they're actually citizens of the country, that kind of thing. But when we get them, it's an instantaneous thing. We go, we pay our money, we get a new picture taken, and they issue your real ID on the spot. So but we're going to have that to either get on a plane or to get on a military base, any of that stuff.
Yeah, all right, okay. Right, Gav's just put in that he stepped away for 5 minutes. What is Doug putting on the paint?
It's a white wax, like an
Yeah,
white
it's
embellishing wax.
it's a liming wax that
Yeah.
he's putting on. You can use different colours. Any of the Hampshire Sheen embellishing waxes would work as well, as long
Absolutely.
as it's complementary to the paint that's being used.
I'm still running in reverse. I'm going to run my speed back up. That's 920. Slinging a little bit, but I'm just wanting to take off the excess. And because it is wax, it will leave a little bit of a shine on here. It's singing the song. Y'all can't hear it, I'm sure, but it's singing to me because I'm rubbing across that texture.
We can hear it.
Can you hear the squeal?
Mm-hmm.
I am getting a little bit of the color is coming off, and that's fine. It's not a big deal.
And Rob says he just got his enhanced license.
Yeah. I'm going to have to get mine pretty soon because, like I said, he's graduating from basic training here Friday, but then he goes to his technical school directly. And so when he graduates from there in June, I won't be able to get in if I don't have my enhanced license or real ID, as they call it. So crazy. I've gone all these years. I've gone 50 years with what I've got and been just fine. And now all of a sudden, that's not enough. Okay.
And Dale has put in you can get into Canada with an enhanced ID without a passport.
Can you now? Last time I was there, they almost didn't let us in or out because we did not have passports.
Well,
I had just
if
called.
they hadn't let you out, you could have come here.
Sure. I didn't know you then, though, Ruby.
That's true.
Not just yet. I didn't.
There's
Just
All
a bit of useless information about what I was talking about earlier with Battis. That's, like I said, the British Army Training Unit Suffield. That is an area of Alberta where they had, I think, the biggest man-made explosion apart from a nuclear explosion. And that is actually how the area is mapped for the army to use. What they actually did was put mile circles, numbered mile circles around the explosion point because it's plains there. There's not a lot of trees, so it was very difficult to map read.
Okay.
So you have these sort of 1 mile, 3 mile, 5 mile circles, all numbered, going around.
Okay.
Was the explosion an accident or on purpose?
No, it was on purpose. It was the biggest man-made non-nuclear explosion, certainly in Canada. And I think it happened. I think it was the early '60s, late '50s, early '60s when it happened.
Now to get these tools that were put away out of my way. I'm going to put these back over here. I'm going to use them in a minute. Get rid of the mouse. Yeah, you can start seeing it's going to be, I'm going to like this, I think. And a side benefit, I'll show you here in a second. Quite interesting. My life center is now claret red.
Somebody's going to think you were out drinking wine.
The Vineyard
Nah.
Farmhouse has just come in.
Hey, that's Brian.
I always forget Brian's name.
Yeah, Brian, I almost came into your live stream last night. I was just no, it's not last night. Last week when it was that I almost came in, and I did not because I was exhausted, honestly. Okay, that's at that 900 speed where we were at a while ago. So now it's just a matter of cleaning up this top edge, and then we can start hollowing out.
Maybe you want to change cameras?
Yeah, that might be a nice idea.
And Ward has just found out from a client of his that you cannot go from the USA to Canada if you have a DUI on your record.
Hmm.
Yeah, we have enough DUI drivers here.
I was about to say, y'all don't drink anymore up there? Or?
We don't drink any less.
I was gonna say. Just a nice little pool cut. I want to be gentle on that edge so it doesn't totally fall apart. I think we're okay. Yeah, that's the little section right there I was trying to get past. I want to go just a little. I think I can go in and down instead of making this thinner. Yeah, I think we're there. Got a little bit left there, but I think that'll sand and even out. Okay. I'm going to take a couple of passes, and then I'm going to sharpen. Just a touch low on my tool rest there. There we go. Well, there was that ring shank. I thought we gotten past it. Oh well. It was a nice bowl. It was
Well,
a nice bowl.
really, Doug, you can just continue with the half you've got.
I could. That'd be interesting, wouldn't it?
Sure.
I'm gonna turn my speed down a little bit.
Just make sure you're wearing your face shield.
Oh, I am.
Mr. G's wood turn has just come in.
How you doing, Mr. G?
And Peter said, "Oh, go on, Ruby, go on."
You go ahead.
No, go on.
You need to sort your wood store, Doug. This explosive wood is getting habit forming.
It does seem that every time Pete comes in, I've got a piece of wood that decides to take flight.
Maybe he's jinxing it.
I was gonna say maybe it's Pete's fault. We'll just blame him.
Everything's Pete's fault. I thought that was common knowledge.
I thought everything was Mark's fault.
No, it's definitely Pete's fault.
Oh, okay. All right.
You're going to do a little on that outer edge before you keep going in there?
I've got a ton of wood there, Ruby.
Martin
Okay.
Ford just come in. Good evening, Martin.
Hey, Martin. And Pete says it is his fault as he's standing in for Terry. Just again. I don't know. I think since Terry retired, he's on a permanent vacation.
I tell you what, that roof has kept him running. I'm gonna try to get just a touch more speed here.
Yeah, he goes protesting all the time.
Yeah, I know. I know how you protest. Like my wife when she says, I'm ready to go to Georgia, I say, again? Okay.
Heck, I just leave my husband at home.
Well, Connie wants me to go so I can drive.
Ah, she doesn't drive?
Oh, she drives. But when we go somewhere, I'll do 95 or more percent of the driving. Now I am looking down on the outside as well as the inside of this piece, so I can kind of see my outer edge. I know roughly where it's at.
Yeah, we can see right through that 2, 3 inches on the left there.
Sure. Yeah. Yep. There's a big chunk.
You didn't need that chunk anyway.
I don't guess so.
Surplus to requirements.
Now, the way that broke off, I could have glued that back on, but we're going to be fine. This is going to be a good experiment in I don't know, something.
And Mike's asking if you're going to turn the other half of the bowl next week.
Nah. Nah. I may do another one of these, but I'm not going to do that other. I'm not going to do this crazy piece. There's just not enough of it left to worry about.
Chris says that maybe the other half is the L that is missing from the title. And Mike says you can sell it as a diet bowl, half portions of soup.
There you go.
And Todd says it got the L out of there. And Larry says no mistakes, just design changes. And Mike says it's an interesting turn, at least.
Yeah. What was it Bob Ross used to say? No accidents, just
He said no mistakes,
happy accidents or
happy
whatever.
accident.
Yeah. Yeah, no mistakes. That's it. Yeah, just happy accidents.
I took some classes with him, and he was a really nice man. I remember one time at a decorative art show, Priscilla Hauser painted a rose in oil paint on his forehead, and he left it on for the whole weekend.
Huh. Now, had this piece held together, I would have added the texture and the color on the inside as well.
I think you still could.
I don't know that there's enough of it.
Gab says if you leave the steps in and texture them, it could become a wall hanging. Mike says it's a shame what happened after Bob Ross passed away, but he left a great legacy. He certainly did.
Turning and Learning has just come in.
And thank you for the comment, Todd. I think you should still texture part of that and go ahead and paint it.
Well, the portion that's solid, I might can. It's a good third of it that's missing. Well, more than that. Some came off that side too.
Now you've got almost got a chip bowl.
Yeah, yeah. See if we can.
Yeah, Paul says that Bob's series is being shown in the UK on TV at the moment. That's good.
What
He was
channel,
the-
Paul? And Paul said it's on the Sky Arts channel. Thanks for that.
Yep. Great day for
Whoops.
turning today. Great day for turning.
Hey, and you've got texture in the middle already.
There you go. But you saw what we were after. That nice red with the white. It almost gives well, not almost. It does give a very pink effect, which is kind of interesting. I've never been a big fan of pink personally, but
Well, Zed says, wow, it's an interpretive sculpture of an eyeball.
that piece would look real at home on Zed's channel.
Mike, the
Sorry, Zed.
Cypress.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Mike was asking what wood was that?
Yeah, cypress. God, I didn't think I see what I did, but I didn't. It's because I had this bottom dished out. I wasn't accounting for that. I was looking at this corner thinking I've got plenty of room.
Zed says he can always trust you to put the fun in funnel.
Sometimes. Sometimes. Well, I will. I don't know what I'm going to do with that, but it's we're right at the hour.
What I would do is I would make a little base and mount that on a base or something in the center, and then the two sides I would just touch them up on either the bandsaw or the or a sander, a belt sander, and go from there. Something along that line.
Yeah, one of the things I've done in the past. Get that out of my way. So.
Whereas Lucy says you can do a peat, which means burn it.
Yeah. I can take a Dremel with a little barrel sander, make this nice and round. Just light touches. Take my time and go make that round. Put a plug in from this side that is just bigger than the actual hole. So it has a lip that sits on the bottom, and then come on this side. Grab it here, so that it's this way. And I can take that plug, make it nice on the bottom, or even proud where I can grab it from there, come back around here, make this nice, and then do the Phil Anderson thing and finish the bottom off, get that tenon off of there. But that would be if it wasn't bad on both sides already. And you can
Well,
even see where the wax dipped into that crack on each side. So
yeah.
it was there. I couldn't see all of that.
Ron says, nice texturing. I think we all got the point of tooling and painting, which I
Yeah,
think was what you were trying to get across.
exactly, exactly. That was the whole point of getting this idea. If you have a nice bowl, put a nice color on it, use a liming wax or some other kind of embellishing wax. I could have come back. Let's see, I had the white that I showed you. I've got electric green, I've got gold, silver, electric blue, the electric purple, oh, and the electric pink. The electric pink on black is so cool. Um, you do
Mike,
black and then use the electric pink, it comes out purple. Um, so it's really cool.
Mike says you could sell it as a 0-calorie soup bowl. And
It'd be zero calorie.
Chris Charlton says it's a Weight Watchers soup bowl.
Yeah. Oh, I
First,
could, I could, I could package that up, give it to my sister for Christmas. She goes on Weight Watchers about every 10 years, and she's about due.
personally, I think I'd do a Pete and chuck it.
Yeah, it's not worth that fooling
Not
with.
worth
Not at this point.
the time and effort it would take.
Yeah, a decent piece of wood. I'm sitting here looking at oak and walnut and Osage orange and Kentucky coffee. Um, what else have I got down here? I've got some hackberry. I started to use a hackberry piece. In fact, the first piece I thought was what I wanted to use. It turned out to be an Osage orange that was real thin on one edge, and I didn't want to. I just didn't want to do that. I've got other stuff here, not to mention all the. I just brought home about almost 400 pounds of pine Saturday that a fella gave me. He and his sister and his dad each planted a pine tree 60 years ago. Um, and the last of the three, the other two had died and come down long ago, but the last of those three came down last week in a windstorm, and
Mm.
so I'm going to turn some memorial bowls for him, three of them. The piece I was able to get 8 blocks of wood out of it, so I've got to get those in. They're sitting right outside my shop door there. I need to get them in, get them processed in even rough turn so they can dry and be ready to go. So,
Ron,
and hopefully I'll start on those next week.
Zed says that the cypress burns real nice and it smells good as well.
Yeah, yeah. This had just a little bit of smell while I was turning it, not much. It's just this is old, very very dry, but it was turning pretty easily actually. I was amazed how easy it was turning, but and not much smell. It's pretty pretty much. Of course, now all I can smell is the wax. What is that? Toluene, I think it's in most waxes to make them
Yeah.
soft. Which is not you're not supposed to smell that anyway. But I just did. Oh well, a few more brain cells.
No, you've got so many it won't make a difference anyway.
No, I was gonna say when you don't use any, what's the matter to lose a few? I try not to use them as much as possible.
Yeah, same here, Doug. It's
Yeah,
working.
yeah. I tell you what we could do. Oh, here's a piece. This is a literal 2x4.
An
Oh,
old-fashioned 2x4.
yes, it's very old, heavy, dense. It's a hardwood of some sort. I may cut that up and glue it into a nice bowl blank. We'll see. Did get a job today. A lady she was cleaning, she was emptying out a warehouse, pianos, piano benches. I forget how many pianos she said she bought. It was a bunch. I don't know what in the world she did with them. But as they were leaving, they looked back and in these pallet racks where all these pianos and benches were, on the very top, sitting there all by itself, was a piano chair. So it has a back on it and the big disc on the big screw that you screw it up and down. It has a broke leg and two broke stretchers that I'm going to replace for her, and told her it's going to be a couple weeks before I can get to it. But I'll probably do that on a live, at least one of them on a live, and I'll let her know so she can come watch as well. So that'll be a lot of fun. And she may not watch it live because she teaches piano during while we're on. So, um, but she'll watch it, and she said, I'd love to see that. So she was very agreeable. I'm excited to do
Good.
those. Be fun. Be a fun little spindle project. I don't do a lot of spindles. When I do, it's typically replacing something that's broken.
And
Either
most of my spindle work tends to be repair jobs.
yeah. It's gonna be fun just getting everything apart. It's not apart yet. Just broken
Okay.
out. Yeah, the leg and one stretcher is broken. Um, the leg is it's well everything it's at the tenon where it goes into the seat or into the center post. So I've got to remake them because of the tenons. Somebody said, "Oh, all you got to do is cut that off. You drill it and stick a dowel in there, and you'll be good as gold." And she didn't want to do that. She didn't want to do that, and I said, I could do that, but it doesn't look the same. It's not the same. So I'll turn them. Find a decent piece of wood to turn all those out of, and then we'll put some stain on it so it's something close to what she had, and a little finish, and get it back to her. She said there's no rush because it's not being used. It's just an extra chair that she got from that sale. So anyway, I think we've answered all the questions that have come in. Uh, Chris Charlton, that was interesting. Yeah, it's interesting to see pieces of wood fly. I want to find that other piece that flew out. I don't know where it went. Um, I didn't know it was gone until we turned it off and saw that it was missing.
Well, that was the piece that when it fell onto your hand, you said, "Oh, there's a chunk came off."
That was just a little strip. This is a third of the bowl.
Yeah. Well, I think
It'll
it
be
came off at the same time.
yeah,
It may
it'll be
have.
in the same place as the banks of your nut and your wedding ring.
You're probably right, Wayne. You're probably right. Oh goodness. Oh goodness. It's always something. Always something. But it's gonna be fine. I'll get a wild hair. I don't want Wayne's shop to be cleaner than mine, so I may have to clean up.
Oh, mine's going to take weeks.
Yeah, I understand. Mine will take weeks too, and I haven't had a flood or a year's worth of collection. It's more like 3 or 4 years of not really. I sweep up once in a while, and that's about as far as I go as far as cleaning. Other than this bookcase behind me, it's full of wood. I cleaned it out totally when I lost my ring. It ain't there. It ain't there. That I cleaned it out, and I went through all the shavings in the floor, one handful at a time. 8 hours on my knees, cleaning
Did
up.
you use a magnet?
Not no magnet won't pick up gold, so no good there. No good there. No, I'd get a handful of shavings, and I was rubbing them into my. I had a bucket that I was rubbing into, and I'd get 2 or 3 inches of sawdust in the bucket, and then I'd throw it out and start over. But it was a handful at a time, and I'd rub it and make sure there was nothing in there. Didn't find it. Found some screws that I was looking for, but
Well, it's interesting what you find when you clean. I was cleaning mine this morning, and I found a gauge that I have no clue where it came from or how I got it, but it's for setting the tension on a bandsaw blade.
All
that's
right.
interesting.
And the only reason I know that is because I read the instructions that were in the box.
Yeah, yeah.
I have no idea where this thing came from.
Oh, somebody
I,
came to visit you and
I
brought it
use
with you.
I use these as bandsaw blade tensioners.
Well, that's what I use.
Yeah,
I just pluck it. Bing, bing, bing.
I just try and twist the bandsaw blade. If it doesn't twist
Ah,
very far, it's tight enough.
there you go. I'm listening for a tone. I read somewhere get the longest stretch of band of the blade that's not touching anything and pluck it, and it should have a pleasant tone. What that means, who knows? I've probably got most everything too tight on my bandsaw,
Well,
but it seems to work.
Rob and Zed have just suggested that I tighten it one turn less than what makes the blade break.
Yep.
Thanks,
Uh,
guys.
Yeah, weightless snaps and back it off half a turn.
there you go. It's like using your chuck jaws into a mortise. Tighten it up till just before it cracks.
Yes.
If it cracks, you've gone too far. All right. Well, it's been fun. It really has been fun, and I enjoyed that, and it's causing me to want to do it again. Um, I just I like the effect of that. I've done it
Yeah,
only time I've
that came out great.
yeah I've done it on blue. Um, yeah, I've still got that blue paint. It's the same paint I use for the water drop bowls. Um, but doing it on blue with that white is phenomenal. I think this would be um, just as beautiful, especially if I took the time, let that paint dry thoroughly,
Mhm.
and then put the wax on. It works out very, very nice. I'd like to do a whole series of colors. Do the red. I've got black. I've got purple. Um, got bright
Rather than
red.
rather than using the rattle cans, if you use the likes of the Hampshire Sheen colours,
Oh yeah,
they
yeah, yeah,
dry very quick anyway.
yeah, yeah, yeah. The intrinsics. Yeah, could do
Yeah,
that.
the
Very.
intrinsics. Yeah,
I've got big bottles of black and forest green and plum, and then I've still got a lot of colors in the little sampler bottles. What were those? They're tiny, 15 mil. Um, but I've also got, and it's something I haven't brought out yet. The Salisbury Crafts colors. Um, these are awfully nice too. These are um, mhm. These are refills for the pens, so there's a little less pigment in these than there is in the airbrush colors that he makes. But they still, even the yellow, it's a bright yellow. I don't even know that I got the yellow. I got red and blue, and I did get yellow and green. So I'm excited. I might try those and do the same thing. Do the texturing, do this color, let it dry, white embellishing wax, and see how it comes out. You never know till you experiment with it. So that's kind of the name of the game these days. Let's have some experiment and have some fun. So anyway, it's been a good day. It's been fun. Even though it wasn't a big success, you got to have a failure once in a while. And so today
Yeah.
was one of those, and we're not going to worry about it. The neat thing about using wood as our base material, it grows on trees. And so there's plenty of it. There's plenty of it. I'm looking outside right now, and about all I can see out through there is trees. So not a big deal. So anyway, yeah, and I didn't go out and pay a bunch of money for it. Some people that have to buy all their wood, I feel sorry for them if they have a big failure because can be a chunk of change.
it
So
can.
anyway,
I've just joined a Facebook group here in Scotland that advertise trees that have been brought down, and you can just go and pick it up for
wow,
nothing.
yeah, yeah. With all the rain and the windstorms we've been having here, there's trees everywhere, everywhere. Did have a lady a couple months ago said my side lot is nothing but trees. Nobody's ever done anything in there. It's never been cleared. She said it's full of ash trees and they're standing dead. She said, I don't let everybody in there, but you're welcome to come anytime. I said, okay, I'll call you. You don't even need to call me. Just be careful. So I need to go get some ash. I could have a whole tree sitting here with no problem at all because all of our ash trees in this area are dead. There's not a living
Yeah.
ash tree around. So those have to come down. Anyway, guys, it's been a lot of fun. I'm going to say bye. I'm going to let Ruby and Wayne say bye, and we're going to be
Night,
out of here.
everybody.
Bye.